Hello friends, welcome to this very quick update video. There'll be a live stream later this week, so please feel free to join that and bring your questions to that if you have any, or comments or thoughts. The quick update is that I'm almost done drafting Carry Your Heart, book 4 in the Finding Home series. So that's on the Jared Garrett author side, which means that as I finish that, I need to start working on the editing and the typesetting and the cover art and everything else. So there's a lot of work to do. I'm still hoping to get Worlds Apart, book 3, out in March. It might be the end of March. And if it's in the end of March, then Carry Your Heart will be out in the end of April. I'm going to have about a month between the two. So I'm really excited about that. On the Jerry Ironspear side, I caved in and had a friend start working on the website for me. It just felt like I was spinning my wheels, and I could eventually have figured it out probably, but it felt like it was going to take me forever, and he can do it practically in his sleep. He's my friend Rob Watson. He runs a contracting service called WebAdextrous. I like him a lot. Anyway, so the Jerry Ironspear website's almost up, I think, and that means that once the newsletter's ready there, I'm going to send out a newsletter to both groups, or I'm going to send out a newsletter, and I'm going to say, hey, if you want to sign up for the Jerry Ironspear newsletter, sign up over there, stick around here, whatever you want. So I'm excited about getting that going. All the spec fit covers are done with the Jerry Ironspear name. I haven't cracked open the inside of those things yet, but I think that would be the work of about an hour to 2 hours to update the content in there to reflect my name, and also, to update like author bio stuff if needed. Anyway, so that's exciting. If you remember last video, I read a little bit of chapter 1 of the memoir. I'm actually going to read maybe not the whole rest of the chapter, but I'm going to read more of that chapter to you. I think that it's interesting. If you watch this video, you're going to find out a little bit more of the history of the process / the Foundation Faith of God / Best Friends. It does not align with what you see online on the Best Friends website because they're lying. And they're doing that to, what they say is technically true, but they omit a substantial amount. And they do that, I would assume, because they don't want people to believe that they were a cult once, but they were. They're lying. It's how these things go, right? In any case, so here we go. I ended with the statement, neither of them was me, but I'm still the main character of this story. Next. Sometime later, the group was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, soliciting money and handing out tracts in Harvard Square. There they met a good-looking fellow who had grown up in a tough home. His name was Bruce. He was smart, articulate, and charming. Seraphine and Bruce became a thing. She was married to John still, but the cult didn't really see that as an issue, and the capricious leader of the cult, Marianne, even blessed their relationship. I was born in 1974, while the cult was in Chicago. I was one of many kids born into this cult. The members were young, in great shape, and did not abstain from procreative activities, despite Marianne's bizarre, contradictory directive to stay celibate, and that was also intermittent, by the way. All told, about 30 children were born into the cult, most of us raised together in very orphanage-like conditions. I'm going to pause. Here's an aside. I have some of the people I grew up with refer to it and describe it as like a boarding school type situation. That's not the case. When you go to boarding school, you do live there full time, but then you have a home that you return to with parents who who your parents are. They treat you like their child, although sending them off to boarding school seems a little bit much, but still. And so I didn't have that. I wasn't living with my parents and then going off to boarding school. I was in a cult, a commune, and we were very much orphanage-like because there was masses of us eating massive amounts of trash food sometimes, and being treated like trash. So anyway, I'm not saying orphanage treat their kids like trash. This orphanage type situation absolutely did. But I also should say, I don't know if they're lying or if they're lying to themselves or if they've been convinced of lies to themselves. But also I should point out that despite 30 plus kids being born and raised in this thing, we did have different experiences, and I've learned over the last many years that some of these kids actually did have a relationship with their parents. Which I'm jealous of, but okay. So there we go. The cult didn't stay in Chicago long. By But you know what? If you want more of this, by the way, it's in my podcast, Tales from a Cult Insider. Okay. By the time I was 1, they had moved to New York City, so I spent the next 3 or so years of my life in the Big Apple, mostly Manhattan. The earliest cult-related memories I have include, large religious rituals with people standing in circles, singing and swaying, sleeping in a wide room with about 20 other kids where we all had either blankets or sleeping bags. That was our bedroom. Walking to nursery school down a bright New York City sidewalk. Nursery school is preschool. And of moseying around a circle of adults doing some late-night wine drinking and cult talk while I finished off everybody's red wine. I was about 4 years old. Yeah. I also remember climbing the monkey bars at the nursery school and attempting to spin/somersault around the top bar like I'd seen the other kids doing. I fell, but don't remember the brief flight. I woke up with my 2 top front teeth on the blacktop just outside my mouth, my head ringing, and blood on my forehead, a circle of gawking kids around me. The cult stayed in New York City for several years and sent members all over the country on what they called angel tours, scouting out places for other branches. By the time I was 3, Seraphine, who went by Magdalene by that time, was no longer my primary caregiver. I could feed myself and be made to obey, so I was sent into the orphanage-style children's center, which was simply the rest of the cult kids, all of us still in the same building in Manhattan. Many of the kids had been born outside of the cult, but quite a few had been born in it, and most were older than me. We kids all lived in the same reddish-brown brick building as the adults. It was a commune, but we spent our time mostly fooling around, trying to stay out from underfoot, or for a brief period, going to nursery school. For a vivid image, picture attractive, soft-haired hippies wearing heavy black clothing and cloaks, iron cross amulets, and singing and swaying in a room filled with candle smoke, incense, and the odor of olive oil and sweat. My first memory of rock music happened in this setting. I was walking down a hall and I heard Fleetwood Mac's "Don't Stop" and liked it a lot. I can still hear Lindsey Buckingham belting, "It'll be here, better than before, yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone." Other memories of New York are vivid flashes and images that aren't particularly connected in any kind of coherent narration. I was far too young, and memories are patchy. Judging by some of the stuff I'm dealing with today, I believe my trusty brain has blocked what must have been some deeply bad experiences. But now it's time to introduce a few side characters to this story. They played an important part in my life for a lot of years, not realizing they were helping me figure out what I wanted to be in the story I made of my life. And that is, in fact, the end of chapter 1. I might post a few more bits and excerpts from different chapters here. I don't think I'll go linear at this point in the recording that I do. Feel free to comment on this video and let me know if you want, if you want me to keep reading this, or if you want me to talk about other things as an author, about my memoir, about my 2, author category, you could say, categories. But I want to thank everybody who's subscribed recently. Boy, it's been wonderful to see my subscriber count go up. Again, the goal is to try to monetize as quickly as possible. I've found, this is something I need to comment on, and we'll do that on the live stream as well, but I found a really good AI voiceover thing. I am considering using it for my Guide in the Sword series on the Jerry Ironspear side. It's really good. Maybe I should put a sample video of it up here sometime for you guys to tell me if you think it's okay. Tell me what you think. Anyway, thank you so much for subscribing. Please continue to tell your friends, enemies, lovers, neighbors, dogs. I don't know. Until next time, stay cool.